Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. Today, along with my dream cake, we'll be showing you how to create this Dreamcatcher cake. I'll be using two 5-inch cakes for this project, and I've got my egg bake cutter and some red velvet cake. I'm going to level it and then cut it through the center as well. Stacking this up with some buttercream. I've tinted it blue just to have a little something different on the inside. And then we are going to stack all the layers together as neatly and level as we can. Create a crumb coat all around your cake to trap in those crumbs. I like to use buttercream for this, although the final layer of frosting will be a dark chocolate ganache frosting, and we're doing this because we're covering our cake with fondant. Whenever I cover my cake with fondant, I always like to use ganache as a base. It creates a much sharper edge and it doesn't misshape as easily as a buttercream would when it's being handled, so it's perfect for fondant work. I microwaved it for a good couple of seconds to get it nice and fluid, which buys me lots of time to cover my cake properly. This is a silicone putty, and basically you just knead the two halves together and make a silicone mold out of absolutely anything you like. It's kind of awesome. So if you have like a necklace or a Lego or your kid's favorite toy figurine, for example, you could use that. I'm using this Dreamcatcher that I laser cut myself and designed myself. It took me so long, but it's worth it. So I'm going to roll this out until about 4 or so millimeters in thickness, and I'm taking my little wooden template here. I'm going to press it in and then use my rolling pin to help press it in evenly. You also want an even surface of the putty mixture, so make sure that you use a rolling pin to spread that out. I'm going to clean up where the putty came up and over, just to make sure that it's going to be easy to take it out afterwards. And if you want, while it's still soft, you can trim the edges to make it a little bit neater. Wait about 15 to 20 minutes and you should be able to touch it. It's nice and firm and stretchy, and my little wooden template came out really easily, which is awesome. No breakages, even though I pressed in really deep, and it's a 3mm deep indent. You can find this putty and all the other materials and tools used here at the My Dream Cake website, which will be listed in our description box below. That's what it looks like there, and I was really impressed with how well that transferred. I'm going to take some fondant and just give it a good test run. So I'm leaving my fondant really thick because I want it to transfer nice and deep. I'm going to roll over with the rolling pin really hard, and then there you have the impress, which is so awesome. I'm going to take a really sharp knife and cut around the pattern, and that way it's just the Dreamcatcher with a bit of fondant at the back. Pop that aside and then work on your fondant. I'm going to be using the paneling method to cover my cake. So I have a log of fondant that I'm rolling taller than the cake by a few centimeters and then wider than the cake by a few centimeters. This is all, what is this? A stencil. I will have the exact pattern for you guys in the description box below, but basically I like that it had a feather look to it, which really matches up with our stencil. I've got another piece of fondant that I am draping over the very top. I'm going to use my fondant smoother to press out any air, and then use baking paper and a board that is bigger than my cake to help turn it upside down. Cut away the excess, turn it upside right again, and gently and very carefully you'll want to wrap that fondant around your rolling pin. Give it a good tap so that the very bottom is all flush, and you want to be very careful with how you press because it does have that embossed effect on the fondant. You don't want to press too hard because then you're going to mess up that pattern. So I've got my smoother, but I am barely touching it. I really want to be gentle with this. Cut off the excess, cut at the seam where the two meet, and then take out that little middle piece so that both sides are sitting flush and touching. You can smooth that out again with the smoother, being gentle, and then cut off the very bottom. Our cake is now covered with fondant. We can pop it to the side, or if you want, you can place a little white ribbon at the very base just to neaten things up. Here we have some edible gold luster dust You could use rose water spirit to create a paint, or alcohol or lemon juice. And then taking a wide flat brush, I'm going to go on a diagonal, just one direction, and then changing direction to being up and down and whatnot, just to cover the very top area of our pattern without touching the indent. So we want just the raised section to catch onto that paint, so it looks like there's a Dreamcatcher coming off the fondant. Allow this to dry for at least 20 minutes if you can before you stick it onto your cake with a little bit of water, and then your cake is complete. If you guys would like to learn cake decorating, we are running a class at the My Dream Cake store in Hallam. I'll have those details listed and linked in the description box below. Thank you so much to My Dream Cake for sponsoring this video, and we'll catch you guys again in the next one.